Good morning, everyone. It is a new day, and a day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad, especially since it's Sunday, too. Story today is from September 3rd, 2002, 6:41 in the morning. It's titled A Penny for Your Thoughts, and it begins with a personal story, and I'll just give you a little background. In a lot of Middle Eastern cultures, it's offensive to show the bottoms of your feet. If you cross your legs, you should never show the bottoms of your feet out toward anybody else. It's disrespectful. If you were to step on somebody's picture or a sacred item, they consider that a terrible thing. Back in 1980, I was going through a 3-month language school learning Arabic, and our instructor was Egyptian. One day the instructor accompanied me to lunch, and on the floorboard of my truck on the passenger side was a few pennies, and when he got in he placed his feet down and he stepped on them, and he says to me, "What is this?" And he picks them up and he says, what is this? And I said, "Those are pennies." He says, "Yes, but what are they doing down there where they can be stepped on?" And I was like, "What are you talking about? They're just pennies." And he said they had the image of President Lincoln on them, one of our fine presidents of the past. And also on the top of each coin it says, "In God we trust." He says, "How can you place these where you step on them?" And ever since then I've had this respect for those small things that we here in this country take for granted. Our heritage, with our past, and our faith. I'll never again pick up a penny without thinking of this. Several years ago, a friend of mine and her husband were invited to spend the weekend at the husband's employer's home. My friend Arlene was nervous about the weekend. The boss was very wealthy, with a fine home on the waterway and cars costing more than her house. The day and evening went well, and Arlene was delighted to have this rare glimpse into how the very wealthy live. The husband's employer was quite generous as a host and took them to the finest restaurants. Arlene knew she would never have the opportunity to indulge in this kind of extravagance again, so was enjoying herself immensely. As the three of them were about to enter an exclusive restaurant that evening, the boss was walking slightly ahead of Arlene and her husband. He stopped suddenly, looked down on the pavement for a long, silent moment. Arlene wondered if she was supposed to pass him. There was nothing on the ground except a single darkened penny that someone had dropped and a few cigarette butts. Still silent, the man reached down and picked up the penny. He held it up and smiled, then put it in his pocket as if he had found a great treasure. How absurd! What need did this man have for a single penny? Why would he even take the time to stop and pick it up? Throughout dinner, the entire scene nagged at her. Finally, she could stand it no longer. She casually mentioned that her daughter once had a coin collection and asked if the penny he had found had been valuable. A smile crept across the man's face as he reached into his pocket for the penny and held it out for her to see. She had seen many pennies before, but what was the point of this? "Look at it," he said. "Read what it says." She read the words, "United States of America." "No, not that. Read further." "1 cent?" "No, keep reading." "In God we trust?" "Yes." And if I trust in God, the name of God is holy, even on a coin." Whenever I find a coin, I see the inscription. It is written on every single United States coin, but we never seem to notice it. God drops a message right in front of me telling me to trust Him. Who am I to pass it by? When I see a coin, I pray. I stop to see if my trust is in God at that moment. I pick the coin up as a response to God, that I do trust in Him. For a short time at least, I cherish it as if it were gold. I think it is God's way of starting a conversation with me. Lucky for me, God is patient and pennies are plentiful. When I was out shopping today, I found a penny on the sidewalk. I stopped and picked it up and realized that I had been worrying and fretting in my mind about things I cannot change. I read the words, "In God we trust," and had a laugh. Yes, God, I get the message. It seems that I have been finding an inordinate number of pennies in the last few months. But then, pennies are plentiful, and God is patient. We do take so many things for granted. Sometimes we do have to just stop and take in what is around us. A reading from 1 Timothy chapter 6:17. It's titled "The Right Use of Riches." Instruct those who are rich in this world's goods that they should not be proud, nor should they trust in the uncertainty of riches, but rather in God, who richly provides us with everything we need for our enjoyment. Thank you for spending this time with me today, everyone. It has been my privilege and honor. May God bless you. May you find peace this day, and may we meet again tomorrow.